Sometimes I feel like draft picks can be overlooked as something that could be viewed as good news or just kind of in the middle news. And today, I feel like the Broncos got some big news regarding their 2026 draft picks. What's going on, Broncos country? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. Happy Monday, and as you can see, I'm a little sunburned today, but that's all right, delivering some excellent Broncos coverage for you today. So like I said, it's all about the draft picks in 2026. Now, I'm sure you're probably wondering, we're in the summer of 2025. We haven't even played the 2025 season. Why the hell are we talking about 2026 draft picks? Well, believe it or not, Over the Cap came out with the compensatory picks for the 2026 draft, and the Broncos are on the list not once, but twice. And compensatory picks, as they're known for right now, is each draft the NFL awards 32, or at least 32, additional picks for certain players, coaches, and executives who depart from previous teams. Now, I should also note that only 16, so only half of the NFL teams currently have compensatory picks in the 2026 NFL draft. Now, before I break down even more about what this could potentially mean for the Broncos, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button. You have done an amazing job. We've already smashed the record for June likes. And right now, I think this is interesting. We are slaughtering the Commanders Report in likes on our videos. In fact, the Commanders Report has 42,000 subs. We're 6,000 behind them, and we're already beating them like this. So let's keep the momentum going. Hit that thumbs up button for me right now. All right, I know this is really, really tough to see, but this is the full list of all of the compensatory picks in 2026 so far. And the Broncos are at the very bottom with the 7th round picks. It goes from the very top being the 3rd round all the way down to the 7th round. And it also should be noted that the AFC West has quite a few compensatory picks as well. And the Broncos tied with the Raiders. Now, the Raiders definitely have more or better draft compensation for their compensatory picks, having a 4th or a 5th. And the Chiefs have a 4th round as well. But the Broncos have 2 7ths by the ways of Javonte Williams and Traymon Smith, and the Chargers sucking it up at the very back there with 0 compensatory picks. Now, the Broncos do have a chance to gain 1 to 2 more compensatory picks, which is where the big news comes in. The Broncos could end up getting an extra 1 or 2 draft picks based off of where they finish, how many players play, and the current contracts on their roster. They're always changing. We'll get to that in just a little bit as well. But right now, currently, for the 2026 draft, this is what it looks like. The Broncos have 8 draft picks, 3 7th-round picks, which, again, you could package and potentially move up or gain a player throughout the season. Anything is really possible with these compensatory picks, which is a really nice way of, not being tied down to what you currently have. And again, we could gain 1 to 2 more draft picks. Now, I'm sure you're wondering the question in everybody's mind, especially here on a Monday, why do these matter? Like, why are we talking about this? Well, I've highlighted 3 reasons as to why I believe compensatory picks and compensatory picks for any round matter in the NFL draft. But if you are ready for 2025 Denver Broncos football, do me a favor, spam me down in the comments. I should see as many as possible. If you've already subscribed, if you've already liked the video, and if you're fired up for your favorite team to play on Sundays once again, do me a favor, type those me's in the comment section down below. So why do compensatory picks matter? Moose, it's June of 2025. This couldn't possibly mean anything, right? Well, actually not so fast, my friend. Compensatory picks are malleable. They're always changing. So they don't necessarily have to stay as a 7th round pick. Those could move as high up as a 3rd round pick because it all has to do with the way that the current players are, how their contracts are slated, and how many snaps they will end up taking. I'll give you the perfect example. Josh Allen right now would be worth the highest 3rd round pick possible, considering how much he makes per year, which is like $55 million a year, and how many snaps he takes. He's super high in snap count because he plays on almost every, or in theory, plays in every single offensive play. So if your snap count is super high, and your contract, you're making a bunch of money, all of that is factored into an algorithm. And that algorithm spews out what they believe that compensatory pick would be. So obviously, the lower your salary and the lower snaps that you play, the worse your compensatory pick would end up being. So again, it doesn't have to stay as a 7th round pick. That could go up to a 6th, a 5th, a 4th, a 3rd, depending on salary and depending on, again, snap count. So that's the good news. That doesn't necessarily have to stay a 7th round pick for what we have so far. The second reason, the Broncos didn't have any in 2025. I went back and I checked, and I wanted to make sure that I was correct about this. Now, I will break down again a little bit more about the compensatory picks, but the 4th of July is coming up, guys. Right? Patriotism is at the very highest, and if you want to sport Denver Broncos gear for the 4th of July, I found the perfect t-shirt for you. Could you imagine wearing this while you're barbecuing outside or on a friend's boat somewhere? Doesn't really matter where you're going to be wearing it as long as you are wearing it. So I made it super simple for you. I put this link in the comments and description of today's video. It's only $30 right now, guys, for, sporting the red, white, and blue. So do me a favor, use this link, like I said, that I put there, super easy for you. Go to chatsports.com/4th to start shopping your Denver Broncos 4th of July gear today. Okay, this was last year's compensatory picks. And if you notice, the Kansas City Chiefs had 2, the Chargers had a couple, the Raiders didn't have any, and neither did the Broncos. So this is good because we're gaining more draft capital, and draft capital can be used as good trade bait for in-season acquisitions. So let's just say, hypothetically, for example, we're trying to move off of a player like John Franklin Myers, and the deal isn't necessarily sweet enough yet for either side. Well, you could throw in a compensatory pick if you've got them and kind of sweeten the deal as well. And again, all of that factors back to how much the player plays and what the new contract looks like. So a compensatory pick that you trade for in a 6th round pick could end up becoming a 5th or a 4th, like this, depending on what the opposite team ends up paying or how much that player ends up playing for their new team. Do you see where I'm going with this? I know it kind of sounds confusing, but it all makes sense in the very end. And plus, like I said, the Broncos could end up gaining 1 to 2 more picks. The Steelers currently have 6. Well, you're only allowed a maximum of 4 compensatory picks per team. So right now it says the Steelers have 6. That's not going to be the case. They're going to end up losing a couple of those as well. All right. To wrap up my convoluted why comp picks matter list is the Broncos have some unbelievable 7th round pick history. And I say that specifically for this year's 7th round compensatory picks. Need I remind you some of the best Broncos 7th round picks? Oh, look at that. One of the greatest that's ever done it. Hall of Fame tight end Shannon Sharpe. Skip, come on, Skip. And 5-time Pro Bowler Tom Nailett, who should be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, but one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Broncos center of all time were both picked in the 7th round. And I have said before on this show, and I'm sure you're probably trying to back quote me, Moose, you have said that 7th rounders don't always make the roster, and that's true. The truth is that 7th round picks are hit and miss, and more often than not, they fizzle out. But there are always diamonds in the rough, and that goes with undrafted free agents as well. 7th round picks are viewed as players that either have a lot of athleticism and just need a lot of refinement, or players that will end up just being, practice squad, lower-end roster guys. But every so often, you will find a player that maybe not puts up Hall of Fame numbers, but becomes a starting caliber player for your team. And that's always it. Look at Brock Purdy. He was Mr. Irrelevant, and now he's making $55 million a year, $53 million a year, whatever it is. So it happens all the time, and that's the thing I think we need to be aware of, is that every pick matters, at least in some degree. And I think that you would also agree with me saying that as well. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's episode. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Like the video. We're trying to bury the Washington Commanders. And as always, be cool.